Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Anthropology 216. That's Peoples and Cultures of the Middle East. I am going to be your instructor, Dr. Michael Zimmerman, and I'm going to take you through this really fun and exciting course, which is really an anthropological approach to the study of the Middle East for fall 2020. Our meeting times are Monday and Wednesday from 12:20 to 1:35, and I look forward to seeing you there. But I wanted to sort of take a moment to review the course first. First thing you may know already, if you're taking this as a speaking intensive requirement, is that Peoples and Cultures of the Middle East is a speaking intensive class. This will be fulfilled through mostly through course roundtables, in which we'll have open discussion of very important topics and questions having to do with Middle Eastern culture. And each of you will also have one 5-minute presentation, which you will do as well on the topic of your choice. The course itself is divided into 8 units, which I'd like to take you through briefly now. So again, welcome to Peoples and Cultures of the Middle East. Your first unit is going to be basically an introduction to the course. Two main things separate this course from a regular Middle Eastern history course. The first is that this is an anthropology course, meaning that the focus is not so much on history as it is the people itself. As after all, the anthropology is the study of people and the cultures that they make up. The second thing that's different is that a lot of history is focused around a very step-by-step linear idea of the history of the Middle East. First this happened, then this happened, then this happened, then this happened. This is going to be a more holistic course that's going to look at the Middle East, both past and present, from a cultural lens. The main difference that we're going to see here is that anthropology focuses on cultural relativism. This is a series of approaches that shows that no one culture has a sort of correct way of looking at the world, and that there are a lot of elements of quote-unquote foreign cultures that you may find different or strange, but each still deserves respect and deserves to be looked at from the perspective of that culture. This is as opposed to ethnocentrism, a more biased approach to the study of other cultures, in which other cultures are judged through the lens of our own perspectives and our own culture. This, of course, is not an appropriate way of looking at cultures, especially in the Middle East. So the next thing we're going to look at is a basic geography of the Middle East. Here we're not just going to look at the countries that make up the Middle East, but we're also going to look at this idea of ethnocentrism. You know, why is this area called the Middle East? It's only called the Middle East because it's east in relation to what we consider to be the Western world. So already we're starting off with a very, very ethnocentric terminology already. So how do we combat that? Our third thing to look at is Edward Said's history or theory of Orientalism. Orientalism is basically this idea of ethnocentrism as applied to the study of the Middle East. The idea that for centuries people have studied the Middle East in a way which is through the lens of Western culture. And this often reinforces stereotypes about the Middle East that reinforce Western ideals and Western political objectives as well. So we're going to discuss Orientalism. We're also going to, in Unit 4, apply various anthropological concepts to our study of the Middle East. Remember, this is not a study of Middle Eastern history or Middle Eastern politics, but rather Middle Eastern culture. We're going to apply a number of different anthropological concepts to these studies. Unit 5 is going to look at identity. How do people of the Middle East view themselves? And how does this apply to ideas such as the study of cognitive anthropology, how different people think? Unit 6 deals with dress, language, food, music, and sport, basically just everyday life. And we're going to see really some of the similarities and differences here, but we're also going to see some of the profound effects that everyday life can have on our perceptions of culture in the Middle East. Unit 7 is an Anthropology of Islam. It looks at the most popular religion of the Middle East, not the only religion of the Middle East, and it's important to note, but one of the more popular religions of the Middle East and the anthropology of that religion. And then we finally end with looking at sort of modern politics and policies. How does the modern, contemporary Middle East focus into our picture of the world? As always, you can contact me anytime, night or day, with any questions you might have, and I look forward to a number of fun and wonderful discussions in class.